10th edition is here and I am back, guys. Great to be back. I've just returned from the World Team Championships last weekend where I was representing Team England, which is, always really, really nice to be able to do. I was playing Eldar and I was using the Avatar of Khaine. So the number one question that I was asked about my Eldar list is, why did you use the Avatar of Khaine over the Yncarne? Now, most players there were using one Wraith Knight and the Yncarne. There were 36 nations there, teams from 36 different nations, and every single team had Eldar. Like literally every single team had Eldar. Most players, like I say, were using one Wraith Knight and the Yncarne, whereas I chose to use two Wraith Knights and the Avatar of Khaine. So people are saying, if you had two Wraith Knights and you could more reliably kill things to make the Yncarne teleport over, why not take the Yncarne and why take the Avatar instead? Now for me, it's because of one main reason, and that's reliability over tricksiness. So I do agree, the Yncarne plays, it gives you more chances to mess with your opponent's mind. If they make a little mistake somewhere, you can exploit it, and you can really use the Yncarne to the best of your ability to, steal points off people, secondary points, deny some primary, and things like that. But for me, the Avatar is more reliable, and the reason being is he hits harder than the Yncarne. He has one extra attack on the big profile and an extra damage and 2 extra strength. All of that is really, really big when you're going into big targets, especially toughness 12 targets where the Yncarne wounds on 4s and the Avatar wounds on 3s makes a very big difference. And especially the d6 plus 2 damage as well. And the key thing in damage terms is that the Yncarne has 12 sweeps and so does the Avatar, I believe, or the Yncarne has 10 sweeps and the Avatar has 12, but all the Yncarne sweeps are damage 1. Whereas the Avatar sweeps are damage 2, so it actually makes a big difference when you're going into heavy infantry. So the Avatar is more reliable at output. But then also the Avatar is more reliable at taking a hit. So both models have a 4-up invulnerable save, a 2-up armor save, a 4-up invulnerable save, and they're both half damage. And the main thing is that the Yncarne is toughness 10 with 12 wounds, and the Avatar is toughness 12 with 14 wounds. So if you use Fortune on the Avatar, he actually becomes tougher to take down than a Wraith Knight. He has 4 less wounds than a Wraith Knight, so he has 14 instead of 18. But instead of the -1 damage that Wraith Knights have, he halves all damage, has a 4-up invulnerable save, which a Wraith Knight doesn't, is toughness 12 with -1 to wound with Fortune. And then on top of that, you can use like a fate dice to auto pass one of the 4-up invulnerables. So you're not using 6s against anti-tank weapons like 6s on saves for Wraith Knight. You're actually just using a 4 and he'll pass it on his invulnerable save. So he's tougher to kill, he hits harder, and then the main thing people were saying to me is, we get all of that, but the Yncarne can teleport wherever it wants. Now the Avatar, guys, is deceptively quick, and that's what I wanted to point out. For example, if you roll a 6 on your advance, he just goes 16 inches, well 17 inches, because he gets +1 to all advance rolls. However, you can use a fate dice of an advance for the Avatar, so he just automatically moves 17 inches. And now Fire and Fade no longer requires you to have shot with a unit to move again, so he can move an additional 10 inches, meaning in your own turn 1, he can move 27 inches up the board, and then use Phantasm in your opponent's turn to move another 7. So it can be up to 34 inches deep into your opponent's deployment zone from your front lines, turn 1. And then that's very hard for them to deal with. And the reason why I did that is when you've got 2 Wraith Knights, it becomes harder for your opponent to take them down. However, if your opponent is skewed to take more anti-tank and anti-monster vehicles, they will be good against Wraith Knights. So if you throw an Avatar right in their face, who's toughness 12 with -1 to wound, it takes the same weapons to take down the Avatar as it does to take down Wraith Knights. So if your opponent ignores the Avatar, happy days, he runs riot through their lines. However, if they choose to deal with the Avatar, then all of a sudden, your Wraith Knights get the first hit on their anti-Wraith Knight weapons. So then you just have 2 Wraith Knights walking around all game. And that's why I chose the Avatar over the Yncarne. And not to mention, I absolutely love the model. Think it looks really cool with the spear. Like and share for more content, guys.